Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dental Jobs Diaries, episode 6. Delighted to have Callum Graham on the show with us today. Callum will be talking about his experience with Clyde Munro and in particular digital dentistry and the role that he heads up. Callum, thanks so much for joining us on a Monday morning, very early. How are you keeping, firstly?
I'm good, thanks, Lewis. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
No, absolutely. No chance. How was your weekend? How was it? Did you get up so much?
No, very quiet these days, My rock and roll years are well behind me, I'm afraid. Walking the dogs and going for dinners about the stretch of it just now.
Hey, listen, that is rock and roll for me anyway. So walking the dog and having a drink, that's what I like. Fresh.
Keep it simple.
Say again?
Keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Been far too many complications with hangovers in the past. So, Callum, head of Clinical and Digital Dentistry with Clyde Munro. What is that? What role do you undertake there? And talk to us about your background.
Okay, so it's a new role Clyde Munro have made. Basically it's overall responsibility and accountability really for the development of the company's clinical strategies and plans. A huge part of that is their commitment to digital dentistry and bringing treatments and lab work and various things fully up to date, right up to the 21st century. They've been quite progressive in their outlook on it. I joined Clyde Munro. I sold my practice to them a couple of years ago. I'd met Jim a long time ago. But the speed with which they've kind of implemented this has really just taken us, wow, this is amazing if we can get everyone on board. The other part of the role, we've got to, we pride ourselves in maintaining high standards and, for patient and for clinicians. And we really want to give patients access to the latest innovations and technologies. And that can only benefit clinicians and patients alike, because it makes a smoother patient journey, less appointments, and it's a nicer way of working as well when you're working in a modern environment.
So you sold your practice firstly before joining Clyde. Was that right?
Yes. So I first met Jim 7 or 8 years ago when he was setting up the business. We hit it off, we had a good relationship, met a good few times. And then when we were coming to sell our practice at Lap Call, obviously Jim was the first port of call. Yep. So I phoned up, met Fiona, she popped out, and really just the rest is history, I suppose. By that time, I think they only had, I think they had about 50 odd practices. Maybe about 3. Well, I'm just coming up at the end of 4 years since I sold to them. And it's been a kind of meteoric rise for them, I suppose. From my point of view, I've loved it. We have got on very well with the management team. They've come in, they've supported us. We already were on a digital journey. I've been using Serec for 2009, I think I got it, one of the old blue cams. So I was already fully involved in the kind of digital journey, just chairside, crown and bridge work. But Clyde came in, updated the equipment, which was probably something the practice wouldn't have done overnight. And we've flown with it. It's been brilliant for us. Really enjoyed it.
I mean, one thing that's that always kind of echoes on these podcasts is the amount of support, communication, and also indeed support management give all of you guys at Clyde Munro. It's pretty exceptional, and obviously the investment into the into the academy and the investment into technology. Obviously, it's clear that Clyde Munro has embraced digital dentistry. How do you feel that's going to move forward? Because it's only going to get even more better as time goes on. Is that true to say?
Yeah, absolutely is. The management have always had a very hands-on approach to it. Everyone's got Jim's phone number. You can reach out to him. Fiona and the rest of the senior team as well. And as I say, we've got 80 practices, 70 scanners across the group. So there's a huge exposure out there for dentists and clinicians to have, and patients to have access to these scanners. I think what we realised is everybody's at a slightly different stage on their journey.
Yep.
So some practices like ours, we fully embraced it. So when newer technologies are coming out, or newer options, newer treatments become available, then we're trying them out and we're taking them on board and just kind of running with it. It can be a little bit daunting.
Yeah.
If you've never used a scanner before and you're used to taking impressions, or you're used to doing things a certain way, then it's very it's all new techniques. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's easier to kind of revert to the old way of doing it, and it's a case of us kind of training up staff and getting members, the clinical team out just to support in practice. And sometimes it's just getting over the hurdle of those first couple of cases. Sure. Sometimes it's as simple as a login. They've lost their login, or they've set their password signed out, and when they do want to use it, they can't get locked, and they're like, oh, and you know what it's like when you're busy and you're challenged, you're like that, just give us an impression, and we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Whereas, once you sort these wee glitches out and people do their first few cases, very quickly they seem to realise that it's a nicer way of working. It's more pleasant for them. It's certainly more pleasant for the patient, not needing impressions and things. And even just communication, if they have, we do what we call an experience scan, where some, patients are getting an intraoral scan before they get their checkup. If you then have that scan to relay information to the patient, it's, a picture paints 1,000 words, a video paints 1,000,000 words, because you can spin it around, you can put it in 3D, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, and you can, that then gives the patient fully choice over their own treatment. They're not relying on you saying, oh, you've got a broken filling here or a broken tooth there, it needs whatever. You can show it to them and go, this is what we, when people see things that are needing done, or they see issues, then, there's never a problem with accepting treatment.
Isn't it incredible? How far technology has progressed in dentistry. I mean,
it's unbelievable. When even that, I graduated in '99, so even in the 24 years since I graduated, but there's a huge spectrum, Lewis. I remember we bought a practice 2012. Now, I had digital x-rays, always had them from the minute they came out, because it was an easier workflow and you could see the pictures on the screen. You weren't using, trying to peer into these wee films. And that practice still had a dark room. In the 20th, do you know what I mean? In the 21st century, you're going, oh my gosh. They had 3 pots, developer, fixer, and a wash. And nurses used to disappear off into this dark room for an hour, whereas we've now got x-rays that are available in 20 seconds, they would be an hour in the dark room doing goodness knows what,
Yeah.
You couldn't open the door, you're like that, come in, and I'm developing films, So that just shows the range of where some practices adopt things more quickly, and other practices are a little bit slower to catch up.
No, Callum, I was in Dubai. I lived over there for a number of years, and I went to the dentist over there, and it was we're only talking maybe three or 4 years ago, and it was literally in a dark room, clean, and everything's looking good, and out you go. None of what we're discussing today is even available over there, or wasn't available as to where I went. It's just incredible. It's unbelievable. Now, obviously, we've got AI that's sort of peeking its head and coming integral into most businesses. How's AI progressing with you guys? What are you doing with that?
So we use it in several ways. Yep. One of the ones was what we call Pearl Second Opinion. So it's an intelligent system that reports on x-rays for you. So if you take bite wings or periapicals, in probably about 60 to 90 seconds, it'll give you a report. So the AI will kind of look at the x-rays, have a look and see what it thinks, what it sees, whether it's decay, periodontal disease, lesions for root treatments, things like that, and it'll come back and it'll give you a written report on it. Now, it's not 100%. It's not there to replace the dentist, but it's a fantastic, if you like, aide de memoire where you can look at an X-ray, because it's long been recognised that as dentists, as human beings, you see one obvious thing in an X-ray and you focus in on that, and we're all only human. You sometimes think, oh gosh, what's that? Or you're busy. Things can potentially get overlooked or missed. Whereas the AI gives you what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Now, you maintain the overall responsibility for reporting on the X-ray, but it makes it a little bit easier. So if you get 6 things to look at, you might go, yeah, yes, no, yes, I agree with that, don't agree, do agree. And you do pick up things that aren't there as well. So it maybe, it's a computer doing a human's job. It's not going to be perfect, but it does kind of, like I say, kind of focus your attention on certain details.
No, absolutely.
We've introduced that. So we've got, I think, 14 vocational dental VDPs, vocational dentists, kind of doing their first year out of university. And we've put that into all the practices, really just to help support them in their first year. Because one of the things is, reading X-rays and reporting on them. And that's, a big part of your learning in your first few years of dentistry. And if we can give them this tool as a training tool for the dentists and for their trainers to just kind of sit down and go over X-rays and go, have you noticed this? Have you noticed that? I think that'll be invaluable for kind of helping them develop their skills in their first year. And for the dentists as well. It's not just the VD, the whole practice has got it. So that it's a practice login, everybody gets the opportunity to do it. And anything that we can do to make that easier for the whole team and the whole group, then all the better. And patients love it, because they come in and they almost, we're kind of, people are now more accepting of computers and AI and what they can do, so the dentist can say that needs a fill-in. If the computer says that needs a fill-in, if you can scan it in the mouth and you can see the decay on it, that needs a fill-in. It's, it's
pretty powerful.
Very powerful communication tool. Aye, it absolutely is. Aye.
How have you found the kind of the patients understanding and also developing with this technology? Because you can have mature patients that are kind of wowed as to what's available to them now, than opposed to 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah, patients are still blown away by all of it. They come in and they go, "Is that me on the screen?" You're like, "Yeah, that's your mouth." Oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. And they all say, "That looks terrible," and you're like, "Well, don't worry, everybody's mouth looks terrible when it's 8 inches tall on the screen." I think that they're kind of overawed, but they're impressed as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's just incredible.
Because they see the especially the older patients that come in and they remember the school dentist, or everyone's got, remember the mask coming, they've got the air coming in, gas and air, and now it's a totally different experience for them. But that's the world we live in. It's a changing world.
That was my
dentistry has
that's my experience.
It's digital revolution, just the same as mobile phones and everything else has. Aye, absolutely.
So lastly, I mean, what excites you most about the future of digital dentistry, AI, and other aspects as the sector develops further, and obviously your involvement as well. What excites you the most?
I think the whole digital revolution's on the way. It's going to be exciting for us to get more dentists involved and then be able to offer that to more clinicians. The benefits for patients and clinicians are more accurate lab work, so people will get restorations that will look nicer, fit better, will last longer. They'll have fewer appointments, so they'll have to spend less time in the chair. Now, much as I love my job and I enjoy getting in every day, well, I'm a realist, I'm pragmatic. So patients don't like sitting too long in the dental chair, or they don't like coming for too many appointments. So anything that we can do that can reduce their appointments, increase the predictability of treatments, and basically, make it a nicer journey and a nicer experience for them is going to help. I think we've seen that with Crown and Bridgework, with the CEREC technology. I've been using that for years, but we're just on the verge of digital dentures being able to come out. So instead of having 6 or 8 or 10 appointments to make it in a traditional way, we're now looking at cutting that down to 1, 2, maybe 3 appointments. But the accuracy that you get with the digital, you take out several of the inaccuracies in the steps of the impression, casting a model, waxing things, so things become a lot more accurate and predictable. And then, things are stored in the cloud as well. So if you have a denture and you lose it, you can print another one off. So 3D printing, it was all very much about milling things. So you would have a block of something and you would mill it away to leave you with a crown or a bridge. Now the big focus is on 3D printing, medical grade 3D printing. So we're printing everything these days, car parts, everything. And I think the accuracy in that's becoming a lot more predictable. And that's going to be the kind of next big thing over the rest kind of 12, 18 months. Beyond that, robots are on the way. Unbelievable. I didn't believe it until I had a meeting a couple of months ago, and they're well on their way with the kind of, testing and getting certification and things like that. They're already cutting teeth. And for me, that'll be, I was very much old school. You can't replace a dentist. A robot can't do what a clinician can do. That's truth to a certain point, but dental robots are on the way. And that will just totally revolutionise everyone's treatment experience.
There's going to have to be people in the room with the robots, right? Surely. I mean, you make me nervous now, Callum.
Yeah. So what the robot's doing is you still need the dentist there to kind of confirm the treatment plan, put in the local anaesthetic, just comfort the patient. But from what I've seen, that's a hands-on bit. Then the patient lies there. The robot does the drilling on the teeth, so it's more accurate, it's quicker, and it's more comfortable for the patient. And then you still have you need the dentist with the scanner to do the digital impressions or fit the veneers or fit the crowns or whatever it is you're doing. So we're not fully surplus to requirements yet, but it's a huge step forward for, again, patient comfort and convenience. And that when it does come, I'll keep a close eye on that. That when it does come will be revolutionary, and it's not that far away.
It's just incredible, isn't it, how far technology has come and is always evolving.
Even the scanners we've got just now, Lewis. The iTero's got something called NIRI technology. So we're talking about AI. So this NIRI, near infrared imaging. So before you would look at a tooth, and sometimes you might see if there was early decay or a bit of demineralization. You have your 3D scan, your intraoral scan, and it's got a kind of this NIRI technology, a system on it that can tell you, in virgin teeth, if you like, if there's been demineralization or there's precarious lesions, pre-decay. So that in itself, just takes away a lot of the subjective nature of dentistry and doing a checkup. So for me, and we've kind of spoken about this at the kind of senior level, would we be able to, for the Highlands and Islands, or outline where access to dentists is difficult? Could you have some trained nurses going out scanning the patients? The images are uploaded to the cloud. A dentist reviews them, uses this NIRI technology, and says, actually, yes, I think you might be needing, you need to go and make an appointment at a dentist. We're seeing some precarious lesions, stuff like that. Just in the same way the old school dentists used to go around with a big blue van and everyone would line up. Now we're doing it with a digital van. You know what I mean? So it's the same van, but we're doing it digitally. And then, it's used more as a screening program to improve access and for kids. These are all the things that can be done with digital technology, and it doesn't require an awful lot of manpower or an awful lot of investment to do that. We just need the logistics and buy-in from the NHS, buy-in from the dental providers, and just, get out there and start doing it if we can. So hopefully that will come soon as well. But there's loads and loads happening every time I have a conversation. Another opportunity opens up, which is wonderful, and it can only benefit patients in the long run.
And it's all about patience, isn't it? It's all about patience, comfort, and I know you mentioned that word.
We're nothing without patients, Lewis. You know, for me, the patient is the most important person in the practice, because without them, there is no practice. And they're the ones that we have to look after. And ultimately, they're the ones that allow us to do what we need to do.
Callum, it's been absolutely fantastic listening to you today, and your enthusiasm, your excitement as well is been very infectious. So listen, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's been great to have you with us.
My pleasure.
Speaking with you again for sure. Callum,
we'll get that robot podcast out when it comes.
Yeah. So you'll be sat next to the robot, and we can have a two-way conversation.
This is my new robot friend.
So you never know; it might happen soon. Callum, thanks so much. It's been great to have you with us.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.